Hello, everyone. Welcome to Progress Junior Golf with Content Live Golf. My name is Steve Jackson, and this is Ian Waterhouse. We've got an episode tonight on probably the toughest job in junior golf. What's the toughest job in junior golf, Ian?
Parenting.
It's a tough job. It's not easy doing it, you see. So we're going to try and come up with some help and guidance for people out there. So to help us out, we've got three guests. Two of them are coming on live later. Northern Junior Golf Tour founder and England Golf Regional Development Officer Jason Budd is with us. And National Young Golf Ambassador Anya McKenzie is also on live as well. So I had a chat earlier today with PGA professional Gavin Grenville-Woodchat, whose son Joshua is now playing at elite level on the top professional tours around the world. Is parenting the most toughest job in junior golf?
It certainly is, because there are so many unknowns. The catchphrase at the moment seems to be that it's a journey and we have to embrace that, but it truly is. There is never a destination. If you fall into the trap of creating a destination, then there's nothing beyond that. It's a game that you have to continue learning and developing and understanding that failure is certainly more prevalent than success. It's a particularly difficult sport, and as parents, it's very difficult sometimes to understand that. For 4.5 hours worth of play, which could be torture, watching on the sideline. You're helpless, don't know what to say, don't know what to do. And it doesn't get any better. It's really difficult from the beginning, but the challenge of being the right parent at the right time, I think, increases as the children get older and as they improve. So, yeah, there are so many pitfalls and so many challenges.
I think one thing that I really raised, which I thought was really pertinent, was accepting failure. I think that's a key thing. And what I see with obviously running the golf tour and doing some coaching myself as well, I think sometimes I think some parents are kind of afraid to kind of let their young ones fail and almost kind of like mollycoddle them a little bit. I think failure is quite a good thing. I think it just kind of lets them learn, lets them learn from the mistakes and lets them grow as a result of that, really.
If I go from my parents' perspectives, I'll probably speak on them or for their behalf. It's definitely not easy because, like Gavin said before, there's bad days and parents just sit from the sidelines like, oh no, how's this going to affect them? And like sometimes if you have a really bad day, you can come back feeling absolutely rubbish and the parents will have to deal with that. And well, the parents just want the best for them, but it can be hard. So it's definitely not easy.
If you're a parent of a child who's 12 or 13 years old and you're coming to see a coach for the first time, there are some very strong foundations in there. And it's very difficult for the coach to influence the future behavior of both parent and child at that point. Parent engagement has to happen very early in the foundational years of that child's development. We talk to them, we consult them. I want the parents to know at any point of any golf lesson or session what is going on so that they can recognize it. Typically in the warm-up, it's a lot of fun, it's high octane, the kids are leading, the parents are learning. It really builds a good relationship, and when parents trust you, then it only has good outcomes, because then that you are molding the family and not just the child. And as a golf coach, I might only see that child for 1 or 2 hours a week, and there's not a lot I can do with that child in 1-2 hours per week. So I need the parents on board and on side, so that when it is just the parent and the child together, whether they're practicing or at home or whatever, I know that everybody's on the same page.
My parents would just be behind on the fence, and as the coaching was happening, they'll just pay attention to what I was being told. Because I was quite young then, 12, so 12, you don't really pay attention too often. You're quite forgetful, so you probably don't remember much that's actually told. So it's quite useful having your parents there to take in the knowledge.
I think it's really important to get that buy-in from the parents from the start. I think the key thing is having that clear communication between parents and the coaches. I think it's important to involve them in that induction process, just so they can ask questions, they can understand.
Teaching a kid who thought that getting into the England squad at under 16 meant that they were going to become world superstars, and they did everything they possibly could to get into that team and that environment. And they sort of did to an extent, but I'm not so sure that that the young man plays golf anymore. If the child, the coach, or the parent have aspirations that aren't in check or in tune with the other two, that child's journey will collapse. And this is exactly what happened.
What about yourself, Anya? I mean, obviously you must have made some, seen players who perhaps started the same age as you, who have dropped out of the sport.
It wasn't the fact there was a breakdown of communication between the coach and the parents and the child themselves. It was the fact that the parents were being far too pushy for the child and their age, constantly wanting them to succeed, be good at the game, constantly win, push, and they just eventually had enough of it and quit the game. Initially, I was a Golf Foundation ambassador, and they were the ones who suggested it to my mum, sent her an email saying, oh, there's this national ambassador scheme going on, and I think Anya would be a good fit for it. She should apply. And my mum told us about it, and I was like, yeah, might as well. So it wasn't a case of pushing it on us. I was like, yeah, sounds like a good opportunity.
I can remember we run this competition a long time ago now, and this particular person, for me, played really well. I think he finished second in this particular tournament. We had the presentation at the golf club. That person didn't attend because his parents felt that he hadn't performed well enough to attend. From that particular parent, I just thought, is that right?
It's really important that there's competition outside of the formal learning structure. There's competition within that learning structure. There's competition at the driving range when the kids are practicing. There's competition when you're playing friendly with your kids, or the family are playing together. Every step of the way, they need these little checkpoints. So we need to I guess, relate the results of various competitive activities to what we coach in the future. So it's massively important. And I certainly appreciate the work that those that put on these tours and opportunities for kids to play competition out there. I appreciate the work that they do, because it's really important.
I just started reflecting on the lack of opportunities at that moment in time for juniors to get involved in any kind of competitive tours and such like. So basically, I went from there, and we decided to I decided to set this tour up. The interest, I was completely overwhelmed by it. We had a great turnout, and it's just kind of exploded from there, basically. And you just see now all the opportunities that young people have to participate in junior opens and tours and all these different events. Looking back along 10 years ago, a lot of this wasn't available then. We're really proud, actually, in the way that it's kind of moved forwards, and some of the venues and the buy-in from the clubs that we've got as well has been fantastic. From my perspective, I really want the parents to be involved. So I want the parents to be there with the brothers and sisters, the grandparents. I really want them to have a fun family experience, and for me, that's what it's all about. So they can go on the golf course, they can soak up the atmosphere, they can see the scenery, see these different courses, and it's great family time for them to all be together and enjoy the golf. Obviously, I want more parents involved, and certainly want them to kind of help the juniors, but it kind of at what point is caddying become too much, if you see what I mean?
When I was first time playing golf, I actually competed in the Northern Junior Tour in the Cumbria side, and then I actually started helping out, and I did experience a lot of pros and cons with parents being there. I keep using this word pushy, but they're not being too pushy. They're just there to support them, and they've seen it where if they've hit a bad shot, they don't really say anything to them. No evil glare towards them, but no stare. They're accepting that they've hit a bad shot. I got close with some parents helping out. They got to know me, and I got to know them. I also got to know the kids, and it was really nice, and all the parents were really supportive.
I think we need to kind of improve our communication with parents, and really kind of utilize the platform that we've got in terms of the website and social media, and really kind of look at how we can educate non-golfing parents a lot more. When parents are supporting the juniors a little bit too much, they always provide that comfort blanket for them as well. So they're selecting the shots, they're telling the line, they kind of give them a lot of on-course advice. And then I think when it comes to the point where that junior is playing a tournament where they're not allowed caddies and they're not allowed that support. They don't have that support mechanism there. And it's a completely different situation for them because they're not thinking for themselves. I think for me, it's trying to instill those values and respect, integrity, sportsmanship, and trying to kind of instill them from through coaching and through the events that we run as well to kind of almost lay the foundations out to say these are the expectations that we'd like to see when you play on our events. And if you're not abiding by those kind of rules and expectations, then there should be some kind of consequences for that.
You don't really need it in a game of golf because golf can be stressful enough. It just makes the thing 10 times worse, and it's just a case if you're the golfer, it's like, well, what am I meant to be doing here?
I constantly seek validation for my own perceived madness of continuing to fund this journey. It's cost a fortune. We've had validation that we're on the right track and that he's doing the right things, and he does have a unique talent. It's all consuming though. It just takes over, and I do get particularly grumpy when things don't go to plan. It guts you. It guts you from the inside out, really, when he doesn't play well for whatever reason. When things like that happen, you're helpless as a parent. You have no way of doing anything that can contribute to the success. It's only just trying to make sure that your kids are okay. You want them to be okay, and that's the number one thing, really, at the end of the day. But it's still, you just feel sick and you're gutted for a missed opportunity.
I've seen some fantastic players come through our through the system, through starting at schools, club, through our tours, going through county and whatnot. And there's a handful that I can think of straight away who are playing for England now. You can just see the dedication from the parents, traveling up and down the country, planning their schedules, and all of the hard work that goes into it. It's take my hat off to them because it must be a tiring job. I've seen it in both in golf and both in cricket as well. That kind of that tough love, that if things haven't gone their way, there's this staying back afterwards and the practicing and the putting in the extra effort. And yeah, it obviously works for some people.
And looking at it from a parent's point of view is that when they have that child who is showing so much promise. I knew Charlie Hull from the age of 8 onwards, and me watching as a spectator, it was exciting to watch, to think, wow, what am I watching here? Am I watching something which is something quite special? Now imagine that as a parent. So at the age of 11, you knew there was something special. Now, like I say, I can say that now in hindsight, I always knew. No, I didn't. It's difficult to hold that excitement back. I was having to hold it back at times, because there were setbacks that, where there were things which she didn't win, and you're thinking, well, she was by far the best player in the field. Why didn't she win that? I have so much sympathy for parents because sometimes they get a bad rap, but to have to deal with that must be tough.
We had an event at Allarmouth, and Matty Lamb at the time, I think he was about 9 or 10 years old, and his dad came over and said, "Look, Jason, I want to just introduce you to Matty." He said, "Right, Matty, can you hit this little draw?" So he hit this perfect little draw. He said, "Right, Matty, can you hit a little fade?" Hit this perfect fade. And he said, "Right, can you hit the straight one?" He said, "Oh, Dad, I always struggle with this one." And he hit it absolutely straight. It was unbelievable. So 3 perfect shots. And I just knew straight away, seeing him, first of all, that bond between his dad and Matty was very special. There's something very special about that. But also something very special about Matty as well, in terms of the way he carried himself as a 9-year-old lad. And now he's obviously gone on, professional golfer, playing the Walker Cup last year.
I've been far too guilty of too often providing the solutions for my kids. I've got 2 boys, and they both play golf, but I've not let them struggle enough. I've been too quick to jump in because I've seen the pain that they're going through. And I just wish that I would have held back for longer in these situations, to have had the kids go through the cycle of the pain that they're going through. It's a natural process. They have to be allowed to find their own solutions. They have to be given the time to extract themselves from this pit that they've got themselves into. It's a pit of depression and doom, effectively, when they're playing badly or when things aren't going well. And, jumping in there too quickly as a parent, or indeed as a coach, is detrimental to the overall picture. If you jump in too quickly and provide that solution for them, they're never going to accept that responsibility or be accountable for the decisions that they've made, whatever walk of life they go down. It's a really important skill for them to learn, resilience and determination and I guess bloody mindedness to an extent. They have to be able to find a solution for themselves. If you don't get that, I think this is tough love, right? And I'll put it under that category. But if you don't get exposed to that growing up, then when you are in desperate need of these solutions, when you're out there by yourself competing, you just won't be able to dig deep enough.
I would just say is like, be supportive, but don't be over supportive, if you get what I mean. Because if you're over supportive and too pushy, it's more likely that your child's going to lose interest because you're forcing the sport onto your child, making it seem like it's a chore rather than something to have fun with, type of thing. So just let them go at their own pace. It is good to push them, but let them go at their own pace. Like watching professional golf, even they miss some of the shortest putts. I mean, it happens to everyone.
Try and focus on the process and enjoy it, and try not to think about the outcome too much. So I think too many people, they focus on the numbers, the focus on the score that they've got, as opposed to going out there, enjoying it and embracing it for what it is. It's a game that we all love and it's a game that we all enjoy. I think the other one is around accepting that things aren't going to always go your way. So embrace that failure, because I think if you do embrace failure, you will learn from it, you will grow from it, and you will improve from that as well. And I think finally, just be a parent. Try not to be a coach. Go out there, support, guide, be that role model that you can be, and give them the guidance that they need, and let their coaches kind of do their thing as well. That dreaded car journey home where, again, things haven't gone your way. There might be tears. I think it's just about, speaking to the young person, maybe not at that time, maybe leaving it for the next day and have that conversation when the emotions gone out from that. And you can empathize and you can understand, why things haven't gone their way, and have a level conversation.
My dad was a bit iffy. He was one of those ones where he wanted me to do good, but he got a bit angry when I didn't. So I've kind of had the experience of good parents, bad parents.
I want the parents to come along. I want them to enjoy themselves, have a good experience, and just try to remember that they're not playing the Ryder Cup. It's not the European Tour. Just go out there, embrace it for what it is, and have some fun.
Earlier, we heard from Gavin Grenville-Wood, who's the head of junior education at Golf's on Leadbetter. Really appreciate your time, Jason. Really appreciate your time, Anya. Hope you have a safe evening, and thanks for watching.